Welcome to a new season of Cozy Womb Podcast. This is season 5 of Cozy Womb. My name is Shan, mom of the girls. This is a podcast where we talk about surviving parenting, the realness about preggo-ness, and giving really good tips on being our best parent and evolving every day. So if that's what you're looking for, you're at the right place. Hey listeners, my name is Shan, mama of the girls. Welcome to Cozy Womb Podcast. This is season 5, episode 16. Are you switching up the way you parent or you're parenting? And this is like an honest session. I want all parents to think about what they needed as a kid that they never got from their mom, that they never got from their dad or their grandparents or siblings. What type of family do you want to create at its core for your kids? You don't have to raise your kids the way that you were raised by your mom. You don't have to raise your kids the way that your dad raised you. You can do it completely different. It's a new time. A lot of the things that our parents did when we were growing up, it doesn't fit into what this world is now. So when you think about that, if you grew up in a very strict household, maybe you look down upon parents who really don't have a relationship with their kids and they just delegate. So maybe you find yourself being more lenient with your kid. That can backfire. Because I grew up where my dad was very strict, these are the rules. If you don't like the rules, get out my house. And I grew up with a mom that was very lenient. She was one of 13, and both of her parents were Jamaican, and they were into hitting all the kids because one of the kids did something, and they were very strict, and she was very to herself and timid as a little girl. And she grew up to where she had 5 kids, and she never disciplined us. We never got whoopings from her. She allowed chaos to go on in the home, and I just wish she had a little bit more backbone growing up being the only girl in that house. But now with my kids, I would like to think that I'm not strict, and I would like to think that I'm not too lenient. I like to say that I'm in the middle. My kids can honestly say that I'm fun. My friends would say that I'm a fun mom, but at the same time, I take their schooling seriously. I take what they're learning seriously. I take them having manners seriously. I take them not being greedy seriously, and knowing how to protect themselves and clean up after themselves, and how to properly clean a bathroom, and what to do. If I say I'm going to check the mailbox and I don't come back for hours, what would you do? I need to know what you know. I'm very emergency questions down. I asked my 2-year-old, what's your name? She tells me her first and her last name. I ask her, where does she live? I ask her, what's my name? If you're lost in the store, what do you do? I do that with my 6-year-old. I ask them my phone number. All these devices out here really handicap the minds of our children. Okay? They handicap us because we no longer remember numbers anymore. We have to look in our phones. A lot of us don't even remember our own number because we don't use it. So it's one of those things that you really have to, I really have to always sit back and reflect on. What type of family do I want to have? How do I want to raise my kids? What did I miss growing up? What I missed growing up was a positive relationship with my dad. I miss a mom feeling I miss being a kid feeling like my mom can protect me and my dad can protect me. I didn't feel that as a kid. I didn't feel like I had the true brothers and sisters experience. Several things ruined that for me. I've seen what a happy, loving family is outside of my relatives, but within my relatives growing up, I didn't see that. It was masked with a lot of jealousy, hate, envy, negativity, drama. And I'm just like, I don't want this for my kids. So still to this day, I'm going to have a 3-year-old on Sunday and a 6-year-old. And most of my relatives have not met them. I haven't introduced them. And that is on purpose because I want to raise my children not to be in a bubble of everybody is good, but to not tarnish their minds about what good family looks like. I don't ever want to introduce them to a relative that really is ill will, because I grew up with them around and I know their character. I know their character for myself. I don't want to expose their character to my kids because that will give them like a fake persona as to what good looks like. So I avoid them completely. I let them know that there are good people in the world and there are bad people in the world, and there are people that don't want to be better, and there are people that need help. Okay? And I always talk to them about the fact that they don't have to get, but because people care about them, they receive. A lot of these people's children don't understand that concept. You don't have to have, but you get because people love you and they care about you and they want to allow you to have nice things. So you receive things, but you don't have to have those things. Okay? Whenever they want to go somewhere and have fun, I explain to them, I can't do that right now. That's not priority. What is priority? I explain to them what priority is. Now, I'm definitely that mom where sometimes I want to explain the reason behind my reason, and sometimes I don't. But it's a certain way that they'll ask me certain questions where I know they're looking to learn what something means versus they're looking to go back and forth and try to convince me. And because I have girls, I have to be super mindful of that, because sometimes girls in society come off like, oh, you're arguing, when really girls are not arguing, especially young girls. They're trying to understand the reason behind the purpose. Okay? So if you grew up in a household that you didn't love, create the household you wish you had. If you grew up where your parents weren't around, be super around your kids. Be super available. Be willing for the, have your door open. Never make your children feel like they can't come to you, or you're closed off, or there's something they don't talk to you about. Listen, my kids could talk to me about anything. That's my stomach. My kids could come to me about anything, and I want them to. I don't ever want my children to feel like they have to hide something from me. Okay? I talk to them about most things, but not all things, because I don't want to tarnish their time to be kids. But at the same time, they know what to do if somebody tries to pick them up and put them in their car. They know who to go to if they're lost in a store. Not regular people. You go to people that have on a name tag. People that work at a register. People that have something on their shirt that says the store name. And you tell them what's your reason for talking to them. You give them your first and your last name. And you tell them my name. And you give them my phone number. And if they can't reach me, then they could call the police. If the police comes, then by all means, you may walk out of that store with them. But if a police do not come, you don't walk out of that store with nobody. That is a discussion you need to be having with any child that you have that can talk back. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When they get to an age that's like 9 and older, then you get more in depth about them being aware of their surroundings. Then you get more in depth about how to have life skills to get out of an emergency. You know, I was just showing them the other day that, you know, if you have a home and you love your home, you need to take care of your home. Meaning, you know, when you go to sleep, I don't go to sleep unless the kitchen is clean, unless I mop my floors. I Lysol down everything. I clean the bathroom with bleach. What does bleach do? I explain to them what bleach does. I tell them how often they need to, you know, change their sheets, change their pillowcase, clean their room, get under the dresser. Why you need to wear deodorant? My 6-year-old has to wear deodorant. So, that's very weird, but I'm always going against the grain and filling in the holes that I didn't have. Now, I do not live with their dads. They do not live with their dads. But at the same time, I welcome that relationship. Well, Anya's dad can always call my phone and want to speak to Anya unless she's not doing work or she's sleeping. He can always talk to her, you know. Seldomly I'll talk to him, but it's very surfacey. It's not detailed, dig deep conversation. With Ari's dad, we're still not allowed to speak, but once we are allowed to speak, it will primarily be about Ari. And anything that's happening with Ari before, I've always talked to him prior. If she had an appointment, he always knew 2 weeks before or more that she had an appointment. If it was that week, I always reminded him. So I always kept that communication open. He couldn't never say there was anything regarding Aria, sick-wise, hurt-wise, life change-wise, that I never talked to him about. And regardless of how you personally feel between you and that person, when it comes to a man and their child, as a mom, you don't step in the way of that relationship. My mom didn't step in the way of my relationship with my dad, but I saw too much of how their relationship changed my mom. So because I saw too much, it changed my perspective on who he was, and I lost respect for him in the mix. You know, I saw the letters that he wrote to my mom about how she was a nobody and how he could hire somebody to kill her and how, you know, she's this, she's that. And I saw how it made her depressed, and I saw how it made her think less of herself, even though she was doing a great job. So always be mindful of what you say around your children about their parents. Always be mindful of what you do in front of your kids. Always be mindful of who you allow to be around your kids. Babysit your kids. Be in the essence of your child being a child, because it takes less than 5 minutes for something unforgettable to happen in a child's childhood years that can change them indefinitely. And if you're blocking out having a discussion or an experience that will benefit your child, you're blocking out them being able to protect themselves. So what I say this because we all have the power to shift the parent dynamic and the parent neglect that we may have felt growing up, and make a better parenting experience for our kids. And what I would like to see is new generations of children and adults and teenagers who do not experience negativity and hate and envy and sexual abuse and verbal abuse and physical abuse within their family, within their home. Now, you can't control the outside world, but You can control the controllables, and the controllables are your family. The controllables are your close friends. The controllables are the siblings. You can control that. So please be mindful that we have the power to create, manifest, and set boundaries for the families we want to create, and create the family you want. Thank you for listening to Cozy Womb. Peace.